CrossFit was, for as much as people thought we were all, going fast for time, it was a slow sport. It was aerobic and people had to be strong and you were paced. Gridley was a true sprint every single time, max effort, everything. And that just, people ask me like, what was harder? I'm like, well, I'll tell you this, like my body has never felt as much pain as I felt in Grid League. In all of the CrossFit games and things I ever did, like a Grid League match was the most grueling physical thing I ever did. And I would lay in my bed for hours the night after a match in just throbbing pain, my hands, like all parts, no sleep. Like that never happened to me in CrossFit. So it definitely, I mean, like I remember my last matches, so they were like short on money and they're like, okay, we're going to try and condense this entire season into a 4-week block. We're going to fly you all out to Provo, Utah. We're going to put all 8 teams in a hotel and you guys are just going to compete every other day across the street in the convention center. And so it was like this super compacted thing where we had like 6 matches in like a 2.5-week time period. And, I mean, we went to the championship. We won the championship, which was all great, but it just meant that every day I was basically like, you got to just get your nervous system up to go do these things. And, I was a strong-ish athlete. I was not the strong guy. But in the last match, I remember having to do touch and go jerks at 285 for a set of like 8 on my frame, which was not meant to really do that. And I'm like, no wonder my like shoulder and my hips and my back and everything was just effed for months after that. So once I retired and I was like, okay, I have a career of being a health and fitness coach ahead of me. I'm not going to be competing anymore. How do I get myself back to feeling good? And I loved CrossFit. That was like my way of life, my way of training. But I also had years of prior experience in the weight room. And I'm like, I remember when I used to go to the gym, get a good pump, and I would feel great. I remember doing corrective exercises back with my, Paul Chek disciples, after college to kind of fix some stuff that I had, some back injuries that I had had. Okay, I'm going to start to include some of this in my training. And so it was 2017, and I was just, as I did for my entire CrossFit career, I posted pretty much every piece of training content that I ever had. I took video of myself every day before social media was big. I was taking videos, posting them on a blog, putting them on Facebook, and then Instagram comes out and I start posting some training content. And I'm doing, sessions where I'm doing stuff on the rings. I'm doing some conditioning circuits that look like CrossFit. I'm also doing rehab exercises and I'm doing pump bicep curls and bodybuilding stuff. And, that audience that I had was all CrossFitters. They were all, some of them were competitive and many of them were just enthusiastic CrossFitters that were suffering from a lot of the same things that I had gone through, which was they were just pushing their bodies so damn hard. They were feeling super broken and they were like, how do I keep doing the thing that I love, but not feel so burnt out and beat up all the time?
Contact. That is our target.